awesome. I just want to get a better idea of who's here tonight, though. Hey, can I get a big round of applause if you're between the ages of 18 to 35? Where are my young people at? Come on, yes! All the energy. All right, how about that middle group? How about 36 to 49? Where am I middle-aged at? Come on, with the savings. All right, how about that last group? How about everybody else who is outside my target demographic? Oh, yes! Who's not going to understand all this? Let's go. It's great to be here. Good to see all of you. My name is Ryan Chernick. Easy name to remember. It makes my initials RC. And just like the cola, I'm not always what people want. RC Cola, what a sad soda, you know? I think if Snapple gives you fun facts, RC Cola should give you disappointing truths about life. I think that makes more brand sense, you know, because opening Snapple is kind of fun, you know? It's like, oh, look at that, kangaroos are the size of jelly beans when they're in the pouch. Isn't that fun? When you open an RC Cola, I want it to go, shh. I did waste my 20s. It's a very rude 76-cent soda. I'm still going to pour over this Kamchatka. Happy Tuesday to me, everybody. Oh, man. I was hoping by now the beard would look better. I gave myself, I think, 2 years to grow this beard, and it didn't really work. I wanted a beard that was tough, you know, a beard that was scary, a beard that says, hey, fighting me means you're taking a risk. Unfortunately, what I got was, hey, I play Risk. Yeah, and I'm the kind of psychopath that'll double down in Australia, so you better back up, mister! Would not do well. Wouldn't do well. I don't have a great beard, but I do have a girlfriend, which is nice because before I didn't, and that fucking sucks. It was awful. Oh, man. I don't know if any single people are here tonight. I don't know. Have you guys ever been so lonely the smell of extra fragrant hand soap made you sad? Y'all ever been there? It's a dark place. It's bad because my office has some very good smelling hand soap. It's a problem. I'll go to the bathroom, I'll wash my hands, I'll go back to my desk, I'll start typing. I bet your name would be Kim. You'd never leave me, Kim. And then I fuck my hand. It's a great joke. Really? It's a very original joke. Very clever. I wasn't good at being single also because I was bad at talking to girls, right? I couldn't pick up on the signals that girls laid down for me. I was at a bar talking to a nice young lady. I thought things were going really well. She asked me to go outside. I went. Turns out I was just getting mugged. Which I probably should have figured out when she said, give me a wallet. But I just said, hey, maybe when we're married. So where are you from? What do you do? She was from somewhere else and she kicked the shit out of me. But she had the best smelling hands. Oh, Kim. Stop being single. It's way harder being newly single, right? You do dumb things when you're newly single. Like we had Valentine's Day a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you saw this. There was a zoo in Oregon, right? And you could pay the zoo $50 and they would name a fish after your ex and they'd feed that fish to a bear. Yeah. Alternatively, you could just try, you know, moving on already. Because nothing says I'm still hurt inside quite like spending $50 at a zoo 12 states away so that they can do something symbolically for you. What happened to America? Huh? When did we start outsourcing our feelings? Right? And I'm sure all the fine men and women who did this, I'm sure all the fine men who did this, I'm sure all the dudes that did this have little tiny broken hearts. But in case any of them are here tonight, I just want to let you know from Uncle Ryan, if I find out that you spent $50 at a zoo and didn't see any goddamn penguins, I also would have left you. wouldn't take kindly. When I was single, I went on a dating app called Tinder. I was on Tinder for 3 months before I met my beautiful girlfriend. The first 2 months of being on Tinder, I had 0 matches. You're right to groan and be sad for me, yes. 0 matches on Tinder. Tinder is where weirdos go to meet people. And not even weirdos wanted to meet me. You know how bad that is? I had all of Northwest Ohio, and every woman swiped by like, not enough neck tattoos. It didn't get any better until I started using lines. That helped a lot, using lines. I didn't meet my girlfriend with a line, but I had a lot of terrible conversations with awful people. So lines proved to be sort of effective, you know? I had one that worked all the time. I'd find those girls that said they love traveling, and I'd say, hey, I hear you love traveling. Just want to let you know, you don't gotta go all the way to California to see some redwood. In case any of you are colorblind or already stopped watching, I just want to make sure everyone fully understands that joke. It's tough bringing a girl home when you meet her on Tinder. Your family can be critical. I come from a family. I have 4 other very angry Jewish siblings, so they really like to pounce when I bring girls home. I remember I brought a girl home, and after she left, I asked my sister, what'd you think? And my sister looked at me and said, well, Ryan, she was definitely alive. And she was here a minute ago. Yeah. My mom's just always impressed that it's girls. Like that. In itself is amazing to my mom. Now, my mom is a wonderful woman. She's a great lady. But she has always, until I think currently, has thought that I might be gay, which is fine. Except that I'm not, but it's, you know, it's fine. I appreciate her support. Sometimes that support was a little more outward, you know. Like I was in the car with my mom when I was in high school. We're just driving along. And out of nowhere, she just bursts out, you know, Ryan, if anyone in this car were gay, I'd still love them. Mom, are you gay? Oh, it's nice to be down here in Bowling Green. It's great to be down here in Bowling Green. I live in Toledo. Toledo is a beautiful city in December. The other 11 months, it's a lot more like Gotham before Batman showed up. It's a little... It can be a little sketchy sometimes. I saw a cop car outside my apartment, and on the side of the cop car, it said CPR, and I thought that's a good skill to have. But then they broke it down for us. CPR, courteousness, professionalism, and responsibility. And you know what, TPD? If that's what you think it is, a lot of people have died. That is not going to work. The best part about living in Toledo is that we are on the border of Michigan. And I don't know if y'all heard, Michigan now has legal weed. Yeah, but it's illegal in Ohio. So it's a lot like being 17 again, and my older brother's 21. You know what I'm saying? Because his room is always unlocked and directly up 75. Super easy. Now, it's super easy to get in. I'm not personally, you know, like a weed boy or anything, so I don't want to give that vibe. I did confuse a drug dealer, though, recently, which was interesting. A guy came up to my dad and I on the street and said, hey, y'all want to buy a pound of weed for $1,500, huh? Y'all real players? I'll let y'all know right now that we are, in fact, not real players. My dad and I are about as player 2 as it gets when it comes to the large quantity drug sale, right? $1,500 for a pound of weed. I don't know if I'm painting a good enough picture, right? This is a while ago, right? I didn't have the beard. My hair was a little curlier. You know, I looked about 12. My dad's a little taller, a little older than me, white hair. So this dude basically saw us and said, hey, Rick and Morty, y'all want to buy some weed? And if you're outside my target demographic, hey, Marty McFly, Doc Brown, y'all want to buy some weed? The only thing this guy did right was target an old Jewish person with a bulk sale. That's the only thing. We love getting things in bulk. Look at our holidays. They're forever long, right? My dad turned to me and said, Ryan, I don't smoke, but a year's supply is a year's supply. I mean, Seems like a good guy. Take him up, get his card at least. I am actually Jewish, by the way. I'm not just circumcised. I am actually, like, medically Jewish, which is interesting, right? Any other Jews here? Where are my Jews at? Yes! The few and the proud, the Israelites. Let's do it! I love that. Jewish. I also have dyslexia. Jewish and dyslexic. That means I am especially afraid of grammar Nazis. Watch those commas. Watch those commas. I don't know if any of you have dyslexia, but all of you know what it feels like to be dyslexic, because I assume most of you have smartphones, right? And they have that spell check feature. Have you ever misspelled a word, gotten that red line, thought, oh, I'm so silly, corrected the word, right? We've all been there. Have any of you ever spelled a word so wrong that the phone says it has no suggestions? It hasn't ever sunk in, what a fucking idiot you are, that you've tricked a robot that knows every word, ever. It knows all of them. And the 5 letters that you have purposefully pushed together are so far removed from the English language, it goes, I don't know. I don't know what you want. I don't know. Imagine putting numbers into a calculator and the screen just saying, no thanks. Right? That's amazing. You can guess letters and get a word. You can put a W and a V and a J and a K and an L and it'll go, I don't know, wink, maybe? And the letters you choose are that wrong. My phone looks at words that I've misspelled the way the Pawn Star guys look at anything they've never seen before, right? They're just like, look, I don't know what this is, but I know a guy, he's an expert in gibberish, I'll call him in. And then a sim walks in like, scooby-da-ba. A+ sim impression. A+ sim impression. I'm a goofy guy, I'm a silly guy. I drive a lot for work. I'm in the car a lot by myself. I recruit for a university. I cover the most rural, boring parts of Ohio. So to stay entertained, I have to do stuff for myself, right? I play a lot of car games, the classics, only, one player. You guys should try them out on the way home. You should try playing Me, Myself, and I Spy. Give that one a shot. That's a silly one. That's a fun one. Try playing 20 questions, only it's one big question, like, why are we here and are you happy? That'll kill some time. Some are more specific to me and this guy right here, like, can I stop at this gas station or will they smell the Jew on my breath? That's a dangerous one. That's a game you only lose once. But so far it's Ryan 10, Tuscaroras County 0, so take that, Tusky. How many Confederate flags is too many Confederate flags in front of that police station? In my experience, 1. But the high score, far too many. Ugh, boy, far too many. When I'm not on the road for my job, I'm in my office ruining things. Yes, I've done that. I accidentally, this is true, ruined my office's Secret Santa last year, which is not what you're supposed to do. I still, to this moment, feel bad about it, right? I talk about this, I'm a little Jewish guy, and my office realized I'm the only little Jewish guy, and they wanted to do a Secret Santa during the holiday season. Real quick sidebar, we appreciate you saying Happy Holidays, but it's pronounced Hanukkah, so just want to throw it in there, let y'all know you're doing it wrong. But anyway, it's holiday season. My coworkers think, okay, Ryan's clearly very easily offended. We'll go get his permission to have a Secret Santa. So they come to my office and they say, hey, Ryan, we want to do a Secret Santa. We want to make sure that all people feel included. Would you like to do it? And I said, yes. However, do you think we can call it something else? Something a little less Jesus-y? Something a little less God in the New Testament-y, I think this is obvious sarcasm, but I'm wrong, because my office goes on to plan and then celebrate something called Secret Friend. Which is not good, because if you institute Secret Friend, you instantly have no friends left. My office was I'm now just the Jew that ruined something else, I'm sorry, some of you look surprised. Yeah, people don't like Jews. I don't know if any of you knew that. Yeah, some of you are like, I've heard that before. Yeah, people don't like Jews. I do these shows all over the place. I was doing a show in southern Michigan, and I asked the audience there as well. I said, where are my Jews at? And around here in the front row, I heard a guy yell out, somewhere else! Yeesh. God, somewhere else must have the highest property values. It's gotta be the nicest fucking place in Michigan. We know where all the good doctors live, somewhere else. But I'm kind of used to anti-Semitism. I come from southeastern Ohio. I'm originally from Zanesville, Ohio. Zanesville's not like a fancy place or a nice place or a cool place. Like, we don't have like a sister city or anything, but if we did have a sister city, oh, we would definitely fuck her. Because she's our city. You understand, you get it. Another geography joke for all of you. Yeah, Zanesville's full of people who don't vaccinate their kids, but still vaccinate their dogs. Which is confusing and upsetting because personally, I don't want a bunch of autistic dogs. Maybe I'm not being clear. Zanesville is full of people who don't trust the government, but still do trust all the rides at the county fair. Is that making a better picture? You know what I'm saying? Like, they won't give their social security number to the IRS, but they'll gladly put their daughter on the scrambler. Which is insane, right? Like, that's crazy. Like, I was at a fair this past summer. Also, they call them fairs because they're not great. But I was at a fair this past summer, and I was at a fair this past summer. I was gonna ride one of those big drop towers, because I don't care if I live or die. I was gonna ride one of those big drop towers, and I'm just talking to the carny out front, and I said, hey, you know, what do you guys do when it gets super windy? Do you pull the ride down? He looked at me and said, no, we just go around, we just tighten the bolts. Bitch, are the bolts not tight? That's like step 2 of putting on bolts, okay? Step 1, put the bolt in. Step 2, tighten it like a fucking drop tower's gonna be used. That's not in case of emergency kind of stuff. I was scared. I turned to the woman behind me. I said, you know, the bolts aren't tight. She said, yeah, it's not windy. Don't worry about it. My baby's riding that ride, goddammit. They were going to one of them fancy Jew doctors and somewhere else. She keeps getting the measles. I don't know what's up. And our corgi keeps arranging all his kibble by shape and size. I don't know what's up with that. Blows my mind. Full of suspicious people, full of very people who are really, on top of like the government conspiracies. Like, I have a good friend, I grew up with a good friend of mine who let me know often to cover up that camera on my laptop. He told me at least once a year, said, Ryan, you gotta cover up that camera on your laptop, because if you don't, the government can hack in whenever they want, and if they see you doing something illegal, they will go to your house and they'll arrest you. And I said, Troy, you gotta take it easy, okay? First of all, that's not true. But second of all, even if it was true, I don't care. I just don't have the energy. I don't have the time. I don't care. Because what I'm doing alone in my room is not illegal. Yeah, it's wrong. And maybe they won't shake my hand. And they definitely shouldn't cook with that coconut oil over there. But, yo, some of you know. That's the shit. We should get together and create a group called the Coconuts. Let's do it. Come on. Could be a lot of fun, right? Could be a lot of fun. I have a lot of creams and gels just all over my apartment because I have very sensitive skin. I have, red hair and freckles. What do you call someone with red hair and freckles and pale skin? Handsome. Yes, thank you, audience. Yes. Handsome guy with a short beard. Yeah, it's me. So I'm a handsome guy, and I take a lot of protection for my skin. I wear moisturizer that's SPF 30, right? I wear a lot of hats. I can't drink UV vodka anymore because, I can't get a sunburn on the inside. because then I have to drink aloe vera again. Ooh, why again? You'll never know. Right? And all this is happening because I'm very suspicious because I, last summer, had a cancer scare.
Yeah!
This is a comedy show. I didn't die. I'm still... Had a cancer scare at 23. A cancer scare at 23 is kind of like a pregnancy scare at 23 because I thought my life was over. I was at the dermatologist's office. I'm sitting in that chair. My shirt's off. He's super impressed. He's looking all over my body. And looking all over my body, and he sees a freckle on my shoulder and goes, "Ooh, Ryan, that one looks dangerous." And I was like, "Yeah, doc, does it?" And he goes, "Yes, it does." So he decides... I think my life is all riffs. It's not. Sometimes it's melanoma. So he cuts off a freckle from my shoulder and says, "Ryan, this is what's going to happen. We're going to send it off to the lab. You're going to come back in 2 weeks, and we'll go over the biopsy." And that's enough to bum me out. I am a little more upset when he's sewing me up and tells me that's going to scar over because I have enough blemishes. And then I am furious when he has the audacity to say to me, "Well, Ryan, yeah, it's going to scar, but it's a scar. Tell everybody something cool happened to you." Yeah, Bowling Green, something cool happened to me with a freckle-sized scar on the top of my shoulder. You know how I'm just bad at doing heroin and... how I sword fought that mouse. See, there's two punchlines, a silly one and a mean one, so whichever your little heart wants, you can take that one with you, right? 2 weeks waiting to hear back. 2 weeks, a long time to wait to hear back. It's a long time to think about how you wouldn't be in this situation if you had just worn your goddamn pool shirt. Yeah. And then I thought, I don't know, maybe skin cancer is still better than a pool shirt, but I wasn't totally sure. It's also a long time to realize that your family is like really good at getting cancer, right? Like both my grandfathers, who I love very much, have passed away from different kinds of cancer. My mom is a survivor of skin cancer. My ex-girlfriend, she was real cancerous to my life, and I survived her, so... We all got our battles. So I go back to the dermatologist's office. I'm just sitting there in the waiting room surrounded by people who are 100 years old and getting Botox. And I'm trying to just feel better about what's happening to me, but it's tough because in doctors' offices, they have posters that just have PSAs, right? And usually they're pretty normal, pretty mundane stuff. One was a little aggressive for my taste because it was on the wall right across from me and said, "Did you know that if you got a bad sunburn before your 18th birthday, the odds of you having skin cancer increase by 30%. And then I shit my pants. Because my whole life has been a bad burn, everyone. Everybody roasts this face right here. The sun, my friends, my parents sometimes. Like my license doesn't even say Caucasian, it just says cherry tomato. Right? So I finally go in to see the doctor, right? I'm sitting in that crinkly paper, and I hear a knock on the door, and in walks my doctor. And then a second doctor comes in right behind him, and they close the door. And yeah, I start to sweat a little bit, because guess what? You don't really need two doctors to give you good news. Right? My doctor didn't need a hype man like, "Oh shit, Ryan, guess what's malignant?" He didn't need that. If you see two doctors, one's going to say, "You have cancer," and the second one's going to say, "Yeah, and that's a bad thing." So I'm sitting there, and they look at me, and I look at them, they look at me, and I look at them, and my doctor leans in and says, "Ryan, you don't have skin cancer." And I looked at my doctor, and I said, "Dope." Because that's how I talk all the time now. This activity ruined my life. That's what I'm trying to say. So Doc 2 takes my stitches out, I put my shirt back on, I'm getting ready to leave, and my doctor says, "All right, Ryan, great, I will see you in a year." And I was like, "Oh, cool, Doc, why a year? You know, it's like a birthday or something?" And he said, "No. Ryan, how many freckles do you think you have?" I said, "I don't know, 100, 1,000,000, who can count these days? I don't know." He says, "Okay, well, just keep this little saying in the back of your head for the rest of your life. It only takes one, and you're done." Great! Or to quote myself, dope. One and you're done. I am on high alert constantly now because I'm covered in these things. I have to treat every freckle on my body the way TSA agents at airports treat people. The darker they are, the more dangerous they probably are. Have you all never been to an airport? They don't even make me walk through the metal detector. They're like, oh, Ryan, yeah, you're good. Go ahead. Oh, man. I don't want to talk about racism, so I kind of dug a hole for myself, though. So. Yo, why do they call them light poles? I bet those things are super heavy. Smooth. So, what's relatable? Bullying. Yes, there we go. That's something we talk about. You know, was anyone here bullied? Any bullied kids? Yes. 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 Obviously. Yes. Everybody. Good. I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. Sometimes it was for things I couldn't control. And, you know, that's not right. But sometimes, you know, I kind of was asking for it, right? Because I didn't choose to have red hair and freckles, but nobody forced me to be a magician. Did not have to do that. Bullying really leaves a deep impact in your brain. You know, they live back here for the rest of your life. Thanks to social media, we can keep up with our bullies. Isn't that so great, everybody? Isn't that so nice? I found out that my bully from elementary school, Jake, he got into dental school. And couldn't be happier for Jake because, first of all, he's going to continue his passion of torturing children. And secondly, I don't know if you knew this, dentists have the second highest rate of suicide of any profession in America. Yeah, guys, 7-year-old Ryan is gonna fucking win. The wish I had on my birthday when I was 7 is gonna come true. Because now I can go to Luke's funeral, lean over his casket and say, yeah, Luke, who can't read now, you big dumb dead bitch? Yeah, Luke, my red hair does look dumb. So does all that makeup on your stupid corpse face. I just have to get invited to the funeral. It's gonna be tough, you know? But we all dealt with bullying. Like we all got bullied. It was probably in between the sessions of fire safety that we went through. I don't know if all of you did this, you know, twice a year, where the fire chief for the town would come in. You know, the guy, the chief of fires, would come in and explain to everybody what they should do if they were ever on fire. Do you remember that? Do you remember thinking how weird it was that we're doing this so often? Because none of our friends have been on fire yet. I don't know. Seems like we're preparing for nothing, right? That's not a problem I had as a kid. I don't know if in the 40s kids were more flammable, but I feel like today maybe we shouldn't have to do all of that stuff. And I don't think it's really useful for children, right? We have bigger problems. Like, let's do an experiment, audience. Hey, what do you do if you're ever on fire?
Stop, drop, and roll.
Very good. Now, what do you do when you touch poison ivy? Exactly. And when you're a kid, what do you do all the time? And what's just never happened to you? You know? We'll do it one more time. Hey, audience, what do you do if you're ever on fire?
Stop, drop, and roll.
Now, what do you do if you see your mom crying in the kitchen? That's right, wish you were on fire. Yeah. Wish that anything else was happening. Oh, but then we get to high school. High school in Ohio, what is the most important thing to high schoolers in Ohio? High school football. That's right, everybody. High school football, that's the number one thing. Some of you are like, that's not true. But think about it. When you're in high school, where do you go on a Friday night? It's a high school football game. It's where everybody is. It's where you do things. It's where you see your friends. You drink your first beer. You get your first over-the-pants hand job. It's where all that stuff happens, you know? That's where I did all those things, and I was in the marching band. It was awesome. If you ever see a band bus, all those kids are getting to third base at that exact moment. And I have to think about that, so now you have to think about that. And you'll know it's a band bus because you'll see the stink line. Oh, man. High school, it's where you go to do things. It's also where you go to learn. It's where you go to learn that your parents are full of shit when they try to teach you about respecting people. Because I don't know if you've been to a sporting event recently, but parents in front of the entire town will yell anything at anybody, right? Like when you go to a sporting event, you'll hear dads in the stands just scream onto the field, "Who the fuck does that ref think he is?" It's like, that's Tom, the youth pastor. Give the guy a break. He's called the way God tells him. Oh, man. You'll hear moms just like, hey, fuck you, coach, put my kid in the game. Isn't that your cousin? You're like, I feel like you could text him that, you know? It's a texting conversation you could have, not a public forum for all of us, right? The whole stadium in unison, hey, fuck those pussies! Look, let the band finish, then we'll leave, okay? All right? I just want to play a Hard Day's Night, get back on the bus, and go home. Do. Maybe kiss a girl. I don't know. Maybe. That's the way a 16-year-old I would say it. I don't know. Maybe. See some boobs. Oh man, I do really appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Yes, thank you. I'm not done. I just want to let you know. Everyone, sit back down. Put your coats on. Come on, we're not. Oh yeah, high school football is such an exciting thing. I do though love getting out of my town sometimes. It's good to get out of my hometown. A lot of my family lives out on the East Coast. It's always good to see my family on the East Coast. I love flying out of there out of little regional airports because they're just fun. They're small. They're easy. But also you meet people who have never flown before and they're kind of dumb. So it's really cool to watch them interact with the space. Like I watched a family walk by the Akron-Canton Regional Airport's Arby's, which I thought was, nothing special. Watch them walk by the Arby's, and I hear the dad of the family see it and say out loud, wow, an Arby's! This place has everything! That's this guy's everything, is an Arby's! And those are flying airplanes! And that means this guy could walk into the White House, look around, and be like, there's no Arby's. Yeah, an original Thomas J, but there's no Arby's in here. Arby's isn't even that good of a restaurant, right? Like Arby's is honest, I'll give you that, but it's not very good, Some people are confused. It's an honest restaurant. Think about it. What's Arby's slogan, Bowling Green? We have the meats. We have the meats. That doesn't tell you anything about the meats. This is their slogan, their tagline to get you in the door. And it's just, we have them. We got it. That means that you can walk into an Arby's and say, hey, how are the meats? They're present. Are they good? They're over there. Am I gonna like them? You're gonna get them. At least other restaurants try, Subway says, eat fresh, and McDonald's says, you're loving it, and Riley says, oh my God, how'd you get here? We have food, I guess. No one's ever asked. Like, you wouldn't go somewhere called Burrito Junction if the slogan were, Burrito Junction, we currently possess some burritos. Okay. Come on down to the junction, everybody. Bye. Like I said, I'm a silly guy, and I like being silly. I get a lot of silliness. Honestly, I do get it from my mom, though, because my mom has put up with some crazy bullshit. I talked earlier about, Zanesville, and it's not an ethnically diverse place. My family, when they moved there about 25 years ago, they were really one of the very few Jewish families. And my mom introduced them to a lot of simple Jewish traditions. One, maybe not so much a Jewish tradition. When my brother was getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving with his class, my mom volunteered to go help. And about a week before the party, a different mom calls my mom on the phone and says, hey Liz, how's it going? And mom said, I'm good, how are you? And this woman said, I'm fine. Listen, me and some of the moms were talking about you and y'all's family's lifestyles, and we just wanted to double check. Well, do you guys even do Thanksgiving? Yeah, we do Thanksgiving. We believe in pilgrims. I think you're confusing them with your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who, to my knowledge, didn't discover America. Oh, great, click, hang up the phone. Real conversation my mom had with an adult woman who I think we're all allowed to assume was able to read. And I get it. The Old Testament and the New Testament, different books, right? Old Testament for plot, New Testament for characters. They're different books. But nowhere in the New Testament is there a section called Plymouth Rock. And yeah, I don't know it for sure. Fuck you. But I'm pretty sure there's no Plymouth Rock. I wanted my mom to double down and be like, listen, I get it. Pilgrims, Jesus, confusing. Here's an easy way to remember. Pilgrims have buckles on their hats. And Jesus is the guy that you use as an excuse to not like gay people. There's your difference. Easy way to remember, right? I know this woman had other questions. I know she didn't know nothing about no Jews, right? She wanted to go, actually, while I have you on the phone, do you guys do like the 4th of July? Oh, the 4th of July, like for here or Israel? Oh. What is Israel? Oh, it's amazing. It's like Dixieland for Jews. Oh, God, I love Dixieland. And you seem fine. I wanted to ask, do you guys do Arbor Day? Ooh, Arbor Day, the fake holiday for trees? Yeah, when we find time to climb out of our banks and synagogues, we thank the trees for all the money they let us print. I had a feeling. And we'll get into Secret Santas later on in the year, but I just wanted to ask, you know, I know this seems silly, but I just gotta know, will you guys celebrate Easter? Y'all know Easter. The crucifixion of Jesus, whom you all tried to frame us for. I can't say we're celebrating that one. We might just pass over. My name's Ryan Chernick. Follow me. Thank you so much.